जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, titled Prayers by Queen Kunti. We're on text 14 today. Antastha sarva bhutanam Atma Yogeshwaro Harihi Swamayaya Vrinod Garbham Vairatya Kurutantave Antastha Sarva Bhutanam Atma Yogeshwaro Harihi Swamayaya Vrinod Garbham Vairatya Kurutantave Antastha Sarva Bhutanam Atma Yogeshwaro Harihi Swamayaya Vrinod Garbham Vairatya Kurutantave. Antastha Sarva Bhutanam Yogeshwaro Harihi Vairatya Kurutantave Antastha Sarva Bhutanam Atma Yogeshwaro Harihi Swamahayaya Vrinod Garbham Vairatya Kurutantave Antastha Sarva Bhutanam Atma Yogeshwaro Harihi Swamayaya Vrinod Garbham Vairagya Kurutantave Antastha Sarva Bhutanam Atma Yogeshwaro Hari Swamahayaya Vrinod Garbham Vairatya Kurutantave. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This is the word for word translation. Antastha, being within. Sarva, all. Bhutanam, of the living beings. Atma, soul. Yoga Ishvara, the Lord of all mysticism. Harihi, the Supreme Lord. Swamayaya, by the personal energy. Avrinot, covered. Garbham, embryo. Vairatya, of Uttara. Kurutantave, for the progeny of Maharaj Kuru. Translation. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism, Sri Krishna, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramatma. As such, just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. Please repeat. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism, Sri Krishna, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramatma. As such, just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. Purport. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism can simultaneously reside within everyone's heart or even within the atoms by his Paramatma feature, his plenary portion. Therefore, from within the body of Uttara, he covered the embryo to save Maharaj Parikshit and protect the progeny of Maharaj Kuru, of whom King Pandu was also a descendant. Both the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu belonged to the same dynasty of Maharaj Kuru. Therefore, both of them were generally known as Kurus. But when there were differences between the two families, the sons of Dhritarashtra were known as Kurus, whereas the sons of Pandu were known as Pandavas. Since the sons and grandsons of Dhritarashtra were all killed in the battle of Kurukshetra, the last son of the dynasty is designated as the son of the Kurus. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine. Okay. So as I was saying, I just knew 15-20 minutes before the class that I was going to give a class, so haven't prepared much. I hope this could be more of a discussion rather than me just speaking forever. I don't think so. But we see that the prayers have begun in this chapter. Although the title of the chapter is Prayers by Queen Kunti, Krishna is responding to somebody's prayer here by protecting Maharaj Parikshit. You know whose prayer he's responding to? Uttara, right? So what's happened is the battle of Kurukshetra is done, and then at the end of the battle, something terrible happened. I mean, of course, the battle, lots of terrible things happened. So many people were killed. But Ashwatthama, during the night, thinking they were the Pandavas, killed the 5 young sons of Draupadi. Already the Pandavas were shattered because Yudhishthir Maharaj didn't really want the war, but because Krishna asked them to, he fought the war, and he was in a very sad state already because he had killed practically his friends and cousins and nieces and nephews on the other side, and from his side so many people were killed. And on top of that, Ashwatthama committed this really terrible act, and they forgave him actually. In fact, Draupadi was so magnanimous that she told Arjuna that, oh, this is our teacher's son, this is Dronacharya's son, Ashwatthama, and said he's a Brahmana's son, so we should spare him. This was her soft-heartedness, you could see. And yet in return, what Ashwatthama does is something even more horrible. So the last of the Kurus, Prabhupada explains here, right? Usually we've seen the Kurus mean the sons of Dhritarashtra. And Prabhupada explains that here in the purport, that when there were differences, this is how the Gita starts itself, right? Dhritarashtra says, Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsavaha mamaka pandavasyeva kima kurvata Sanjaya. This is his question to Sanjaya, is that he clearly differentiates between his mamaka, my sons, and Pandavas, the sons of Pandu. Ideally, he was supposed to consider both his sons and the sons of Pandu to be his own sons, because his younger brother Pandu was no more, and it was his responsibility to take care of his younger brother's children. And yet he could clearly, because of his blind love for his sons, he would differentiate between them, and that's how he asked this question in the beginning of the Gita, Mamaka Pandavasyeva. What happened to my sons and the sons of Pandu? So when there were differences like this, Prabhupada says, although they came from the Kuru dynasty, the root of both Dhritarashtra and Pandava was the Kuru dynasty, and both of them owned this title of the Kurus, so to speak. But when there were differences, the sons of Dhritarashtra were called the Kurus, whereas the sons of Pandu were called the Pandavas. But yet now everybody is dead. The sons of Dhritarashtra are dead. From the Pandava side, only the 5 Pandavas are alive, right? And Arjun's son, or Uttara's husband, Abhimanyu, has also been killed. So the last of the progeny of the entire Kuru dynasty is in the womb of Uttara, and this is Parikshit Maharaj. So what Ashwatthama did for Draupadi forgiving him was to try to kill Maharaj Parikshit. It's incredible to even think of it. Because he had this deep vengeance within, because the Pandavas had killed his father. And this was not just by any fair means, according to him at least, because in the battle they said Ashwatthama, an elephant, had died, and therefore Dronacharya thought his son Ashwatthama had died, and then was in that state, and then he was killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So in that moment of madness, his deep vengeance to somehow get back at his killers of his father, tried to kill. Usually this is off bounds, right? For any Kshatriya, if you're fighting by the rules of war, you don't attack women, you don't attack children, you don't even attack warriors who don't have weapons. If they surrender to you, you just forgive them. But this was way beyond. And then he basically sent a Brahmastra, which is the most potent weapon, material weapon you could call, to destroy the womb, the fetus in the womb of Uttara. And what Uttara does is incredible, right? In the few verses before. So if you are being attacked, what would you do? You try to protect yourself if you can, but this was way beyond, right? This was a nuclear warhead, so to speak, coming at her womb. You cry out to the Lord, right? Oh, Krishna, please protect me. What else would we do? At least as devotees, that's something that's very straightforward to us, right? That we cry out to the Lord. This is what Uttara did. But then even within that cry, you can see this is the most amazing thing about the prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam, is she says, Pahi Pahi Mahayogin, please protect me. But then the way she is saying is first glorifying Krishna. Deva Deva Jagatpate, Nanyam Tva Babhayam Pashe Trimurti Parasparam, she says. think about this scenario. A nuclear warhead is coming towards you at rapid pace. And you're asking for protection. And the only thing we can blurt out, if we can, is, Krishna, please protect me. Right? But yet she starts describing Krishna first. Oh, you are the Mahayogin, right? You're the master of all mystics, which is the same thing that we're seeing in this verse also. Yogeshwara, Krishna is described here. Deva Deva Jagatpate. Like, even in that context of think about the mental trauma that she's going through first. Her child in the womb is being attacked, which is a terrible thing in itself for the mother. And on top of it, she has very little time to do anything. And even within that, she first offers prayers to the Lord. So this is the kind of devotee that we are talking about here. Uttara was no ordinary person. You can see that the Bhagavatam doesn't speak much about her, right? We see her in this chapter, and then that's it. Probably in the 10th canto we might hear of when she's married to Abhimanyu, but that's it. But you can see how this is the amazing quality of Bhagavatam, is that it completely shines a different perspective on all the characters that we've seen before. You can see the character of Uttara in the Mahabharata, right? If you see that Uttara was the student of Arjuna, right? She was learning dance from Arjuna when they were in 1 year of incognito. This was one of the terms under which they said they would get their kingdom back. 13 years they had to go, 12 years they could be in the forest, but the last year they had to be incognito. If they were found by the Kauravas, or the sons of Dhritarashtra, then they get nothing. So the Pandavas were incognito, so Arjuna was in the garb of a eunuch, teaching dance in the kingdom of Uttara's father. I forget what his name was, but that's how we know her, right? She was infatuated by Arjuna himself, and she wanted to. Then her father basically asked Arjuna to marry her, and then he said, "No, I'm her teacher. This is not right. I have a son of proper age. You can get her married." But you can see the character from the perspective of Mahabharata. This was Uttara. But then you see how Bhagavatam shines a completely different light on Uttara as a person, of how amazing of a devotee that she was, that even in such circumstance she was asking for protection from the Lord, and when asking, glorifying the Lord before asking for protection. And Krishna hears all of our prayers. We can see in this case it's a very direct correlation, right? Uttara prayed, Krishna protected, and Maharaj Parikshit was protected from within the womb. But in many cases, we don't probably see Krishna's protection directly. By protection, most of us think that this protection has to be physical, right? Some harm to my body, I'm asking, please Krishna, protect me. But then, doesn't really happen. Probably the person that we really love, we are asking for protection from Krishna, but the person leaves the body. Sometimes we think that Krishna is not really hearing our prayers. Krishna is not really probably protecting. But one of the qualities of surrender, this is Krishna saying in the Gita, that he asks all of us to do one thing. He says, Sarva dharman paridyaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masucha. He says, leave all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. I'll take care of all your sins. Do not fear. He even adds that, masucha, do not fear. And Prabhupada writes in that purport that there are 6 limbs to Sharanagati itself, or surrender itself. The 6 limbs, does anybody know what these 6 limbs of Sharanagati are? Yes? Can somebody pass a mic? That's okay. We'll try to gather everything from all of us who are here. Yeah, online. That's why.
Humility. Is it working? Humility.
Can you tap it to see? Yeah.
Okay. Humility.
Yes.
I don't know, in order. Self-surrender.
Yes.
Accepting that which is favorable and rejecting what is unfavorable.
You got 4.
Yeah. And
2 more?
serving the lotus feet. No.
No, one has got to do with what we are discussing. That's a clue. Yes, Chandrabhaga Mataji.
think the last two are accepting the Lord as the maintainer and the
Yes.
protector.
And the
And the protector.
protector.
Is that right?
Yeah, in fact, it goes on to say, Rakshishyatiti Vishwasa, that incredible, unflinching faith that the Lord will protect me. The Lord is my protector. This is one of the limbs of Sharanagati. So we've Anukulyasya Sankalpa, Pratikulyasya Varjanam. Accepting what's favorable for devotional service, rejecting what's unfavorable for devotional service. Rakshishyatiti Vishwasa, that this unflinching faith, Vishwas, that Krishna will protect me. Krishna is my only protector. Goptritve Varnam Tata, that Krishna is my only master. Krishna is my only maintainer. And then Atmanikshepa, surrendering completely, giving everything to Krishna, and Karpanya is humility. So one of the aspects of Sharanagati is this unflinching faith that Krishna will protect us. Although it may seem to us sometimes that Krishna is not really protecting us, Krishna in fact is protecting us. So what does he protect is the question, right? If we are trying to ask for protection and what we are asking for protection is basically not protected, what is Krishna protecting then? Krishna says even that Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ejana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. That Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Ananya means one-pointed. Anya. Anya means others, right? Ananya, there is no other. There is just one. Ananyas Chintayantam, for somebody who's constantly, one-pointedly thinking about me. Eshana Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ejana Paryupasate, and for performing devotional service to me, Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam, and is always connected to me. He says, I carry what they lack and protect what they have. So Krishna is also promising that he'll protect, right? So it's not just he's saying, surrender to me, and one of the limbs of surrender are us putting faith in Krishna that he'll always protect me. Why do we put faith in it? It's because Krishna is saying it, that I'm going to protect you. Don't worry. Do not fear, he's saying. So what is he protecting in this case? In many cases in the Bhagavatam, right? You can see the devotees praying, but not really. Krishna, at least outwardly, seems Krishna hasn't protected. So any ideas on what Krishna is protecting and what Krishna is not really protecting? Yes, bhakti. This is what Krishna protects. Rest of it is all anyway temporary, right? But one thing that Krishna protects is our devotional service, the seed of bhakti, because the bhakti, it is said, is like a creeper, right? So all of us have been traveling from one universe to the other, one Brahmanda to the other. In fact, it says, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Brahmande Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. That all of us have been traveling from one universe to the other universe, one planet to the other planet, across many, many lifetimes. But among such living entities, there is one fortunate soul, Bhagyavan Jeev, right? And what is this fortunate soul? Why is this soul so fortunate? Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. This fortunate soul, by the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna, has obtained something that is invaluable. This is Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of the creeper of devotional service. This is what this living entity has obtained. That is why this living entity is so fortunate, that the seed of devotional service is so invaluable that it's very rare for people to obtain. So when you surrender to Krishna, this is what he gives you. This is what the spiritual master gives you, is that you now get the seed of devotional service. And any creeper, you might have seen, is very tender, isn't it? It can very easily be destroyed. A tree with very strong trunk or a stem is really hard to destroy. Even if you have to cut it, it's tack, tack, tack. It takes a lot of work to cut it. But a creeper, you can pluck it out. It's so easy to pluck out a creeper, right? So as devotees who have been given the seed of devotional service, it is of course our responsibility to protect it. So we have to put up a fence and make sure this fence are the 4 regulative principles, and make sure we're not doing anything harmful that will destroy the seed, and make sure when we are nourishing this creeper of devotional service, and if you've done a little bit of farming or gardening also, you'll know that when you're trying to grow something, there are other things that you don't want to grow also starts growing. These are the weeds that start growing, right? So you have to start recognize that, oh, there is a weed, and start taking out those weeds and things like that. So this entire process of devotional service, we are actively trying to do it. But our endeavor is really very insignificant when compared to what Krishna is giving us in the entire process, right? When we're trying to perform devotional service, it's not just a one-way thing. It's not by our own endeavor that we're completely doing it. We're depending on the mercy. Guru, Krishna, Prasada. The mercy of Guru and Krishna is probably like 99% of the entire thing. Of course, we are expected to endeavor. Krishna is looking at what we can do, but realistically speaking, what we can do is very minuscule in nature. So Krishna is who, and in the form of the spiritual master, Krishna is giving us all this mercy so that we can protect this seed of devotional service. My spiritual master Hanumat Preshaka Swami says, every day you chant, every mantra you chant, it is because of the mercy of the spiritual master. We might think, oh, I am chanting my 16 rounds today, I am chanting my Mahamantra today. But if it was not for the mercy of the spiritual master, our endeavor, how far can we get with our endeavor, right? So Krishna is protecting this. And Krishna is protecting this incredible seed of devotional service, because this activity of devotional service is something that's little different from other activities. Krishna says, Neha Bikramanasoshti Pratyavayo Navidyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. He says in the Gita that there is no loss or diminution when you perform devotional service. He says just one little bit, one little activity of performing devotional service can give you Trayate Mahato Bhayat, deliverance from the greatest of all fears. What is the greatest of all fear in this world? Yes, Mother Kunti? To forget Krishna. Oh boy. Yes. For normal people, what is the greatest fear?
Taking birth as an animal?
Taking birth as an animal. Yeah, that's a great fear. But death in itself, right? Before you even go to that point of taking another birth, none of us in this world want to die. Everything that we do in this world to protect ourselves is so that we don't have to die, isn't it? And Krishna says that greatest of all that fear is delivered by even a little bit of performance of devotional service. Why? Why is this activity so different? Why do you think this activity of devotional service is so different from any other activity? We are trying to protect, right? All living entities in this world are trying to do 4 things: eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending. Defending is protecting, right? As human beings, we do it in incredibly sophisticated ways. We build amazing homes, have incredible security cameras and whatnot, police force, and we try to do so many things to protect ourselves from other people, other living entities, or nature itself. And sometimes even our own mind, we go to therapists and things like that. But all these activities are different from bhakti. How? How is it fundamentally different from bhakti? Yes?
They're all temporary.
They're all temporary. This is the point. Yes, Jai Hari Bro? Can you use the mic?
Because they're all based on the body, basically, right?
They're all based on the body.
And
Yeah.
devotional service is based on the service to Krishna.
Yeah.
So
Devotional service is based on Krishna.
So it's like the constitutional position of the soul.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. But and the fundamental difference is it is temporary. So since everything is based on the body is temporary, therefore those activities, the results of those activities don't really last long. Whereas us as spirit souls are eternal in nature, therefore the activity that we perform from that perspective, this is Sanatana Dharma, right? All of us have different dharmas or duties. Prabhupada writes in this purport to Apichet Suduracharo Bhajate Ma Mananyavak Sadhureva Samantavya Samyak Vivasito Hisaha. Krishna says, even for somebody who performs incredibly abominable activities, you should still consider him a sadhu. Krishna says. Because he's constantly doing devotional service to me. But in that purport, Prabhupada writes, all of us have two different kinds of duties. So one kind of duty is the duty that we have for maintaining our body. We all have certain responsibilities as sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, employee. So many different designations we have. We need to maintain our body, and we have so many responsibilities for different relationships that we have. We have certain duties. This is one kind of dharma, right? But then we also have another kind of dharma, or another kind of duty, which is the most important of all duties, which is our sanatana dharma, or our eternal duty. As spirit souls, all of us are Jiver Swarup Hoy, Krishnair Nityadas. We are eternal servants of Krishna. Therefore, our eternal duty is to serve Krishna. So we constantly do this, and then he says at some point, most of the time, these don't conflict with each other. Your duty as a husband or a duty as a wife doesn't really conflict with eternal service. But sometimes he says your duties that are regular might conflict with your eternal duty. Therefore, sometimes we fall. Krishna, Prabhupada says in that. I don't know how I got here, but we, as spirit souls, bhakti, yeah. So this is temporary, right? So we have so many other duties that we do, but they are temporary, because when we lose the body, those duties have certain effect, yes, in terms of the impressions that we take with our next life, but still, it still puts us in this horrible cycle of birth, death, disease, and old age. But this performance of devotional service is extraordinary, because just like it's the opposite of temporary is eternal, right? Anything that you do, even a little bit of devotional service that you do, is always there in your bank account, in your eternal bank account, so to speak, right? So, say this lifetime, you've studied high school, done your bachelor's, and then done your master's, and then you've done your PhD, I don't know, in astrophysics or something like that. And then you're 8 years old, and then you leave your body. And then you get a human body, and then you're a 1 day old child. Do you carry your PhD with you? No. Start with ABCs again. This is the nature of the activity that are temporary, right? It just goes away. You roll the stone up, and then it doesn't stay there. It comes down, and then you have to keep taking the stone up. But whereas devotional service, this is what Krishna is protecting, is that even if you do a little bit of devotional service, Krishna is saying, okay, you've done something, you start from where you left off. And Krishna is saying this in the Gita, right? For somebody who has done even a little bit of devotional service, Krishna promises that such a person will take birth either in a Brahmanical family or in an aristocratic family, where you have this environment to start your devotional service from where you left off. And what to speak of somebody who has performed devotional service for a very long time? Krishna says such a person gets birth in a family of devotees directly. So this is Krishna's promise. Yes.
I think those aren't the only options though, right? Because I feel like there's plenty of very advanced devotees that were born in none of those. People that took to the process very quickly as though it came from a past life, but
correct.
But they were born in very low families.
Correct.
Also.
Correct. But these are exceptions. But as a rule, this is what Krishna says. I think in the 3rd chapter, I think, or the 5th chapter. I might be wrong. In general, he says. But the idea that Krishna is giving us is he gives us the environment from which we can take off, from where we left off, right? And this is what Krishna is protecting when he says, "I will protect what you have." He'll definitely protect. And some circumstances, Krishna, if he deems fit, physically protects us. Just like how he physically protected Parikshit Maharaj. Any other instance you remember of where Krishna physically protected somebody? Any other instance where you remember where Krishna physically protected somebody? Yeah. Yes. Yes, I'm going to repeat. Mother Kunti was saying it's Jagai and Madai. This is an extraordinary circumstance, right? Where Jagai and Madai themselves were not asking for protection, but the devotee was asking for protection. And at that point, Krishna has no choice. When Nityananda Prabhu himself asked for protection, Krishna had to stop his Sudarshan Chakra. Yes, Mother Tulsi Saki. Can you use the mic, please?
When Arjuna was fighting with Bhishma Pitama, Krishna picked up the wheel.
Yeah, this is another instance where Krishna goes out of his way to protect his devotee, because Krishna has vowed that he would never take a weapon, right? But at this point, Bhishma Dev had basically taken a vow upon himself that he was going to kill Arjun that day. It was either going to be him or Arjun. And he was so extraordinary in his fighting that Arjun was completely going to die, basically. And then Krishna said, okay, enough is enough. My vow is not so important. He takes the wheel. And then at that point, this was actually Bhishma Dev's vow also, right? Today, either I'm going to kill Arjuna or Krishna is going to lift his weapon. So, actually for both the devotees, Krishna did it. Yeah. He took his weapon, right? He took the wheel. So, it was for a devotee also. Bhishma Dev wanted it. So, yeah, that's a very nice instance. Yes, Prabhu.
Prahlad and Narashingadev.
Yeah, the classic is Prahlad Maharaj. Right? Think about the number of times that Krishna protected him. So many different ways. Hiranyakashipu tried to kill Prahlad Maharaj, and yet Krishna protected him so nicely. Yes.
Queen Draupadi, they wanted to strip her naked
Yeah,
in public.
yeah. In the other instances that we have spoken of, this was very fatal to the physical body. But what they were trying to do to Draupadi was as good as being killed for a woman, right? She was trying to be disrobed in the public. And Krishna was not even personally present physically, and yet he was protecting them. Any other instance you remember?
Gajendra.
Gajendra. Yeah. This was not even a human being. Right? This was an animal calling out to Krishna. And then yeah, the one thing that the acharyas say was, when Gajendra gave out that call to Krishna, Krishna, please protect me. He was trying, right, on his own. He was thinking he could, because this was Gajendra's nature. He was the king of the elephants, and he was surrounded by she-elephants, and he was thinking, oh, I'm so powerful. So many people like me. And he was trying to protect himself for 1,000 years, and then finally he figured out, oh, this is way beyond me. I really cannot do it. And at the instant that he called for Krishna, Krishna was so fast, it says, that Garuda came behind him. Usually Garuda carries Krishna, right? The minute a devotee calls for protection, Krishna is so fast to protect that devotee that he doesn't see anything. Like he didn't wear his slippers, he didn't take his anything. Like the Sudarshan Chakra was coming behind him. Krishna was going so fast that all his paraphernalia was figuring out, oh, what should we do? Where is he going, you know? And then within an instant, the crocodile was killed. Yes? Nriga. Yeah, the lizard in the well. Krishna protected him from thousands of years of being a lizard. Yeah, in this really dark well. Yes. Yes, Sanket. Chandrabhaga Mataji, you had? Phew. Was that what you had? Ambarish Maharaj? Yeah. Phew. Ambarish Maharaj. Think about it. This is Krishna, somebody who we go for protection, right? Usually, what is the quality of such a person? How should such a person be? Naturally, who do we go for protection? There is something implicit, right? When we go to somebody for protection, we assume something. What do we assume? Yeah, they're bigger than us. There's somebody who can actually do something to protect us, right? Which means they are at a higher platform, we are at a lower platform. So this is Ambarish Maharaj. And Krishna is obviously at a higher platform. But think about people in this world who we go and ask for protection. Most likely, such people exploit the people who go and ask for protection. The government is there to protect the citizens. Most of the time, the government exploits the citizens. We have kings who are supposed to protect the citizens. Most of the time, the kings exploit the citizens. We have this instance of King Vena in the Bhagavatam. He was a king who was supposed to protect his subjects. But the Bhagavatam says the status of the citizens there was such that they were on a log, being burnt by fire from both the sides. On one side, they were being burnt by thieves and robbers who were exploiting everything that they had. On the other side, the king was doing the same thing as well. So this was the status of the citizens, right? So most in the world that we live in, when we go and ask for protection, either there is something that the other person expects from us, right? I'm protecting you, but you owe something to me in the future. Very few people in this world unconditionally protect us or give something that we want. Or they completely exploit us. You have these incredible instances of dictators in this world, right? Who say, I'm going to protect, but then they basically take advantage of the entire population. But Krishna is such a person that he becomes his servant, the servant of his devotee. He says, Aham bhakta paradhina. I am the servant of my devotee. When Durvasa Muni was going all the way, he went to Lord Shiva, first Lord to Brahma, Lord Shiva for protection. He went to Lord Vishnu for protection because the Sudarshan Chakra was chasing him, right? And what does Vishnu say? Oh, I cannot protect you because I am under the control of my devotee. Aham bhakta paradhina. You have to now go and ask Ambarish to see if he will protect you. If he will protect you, the Sudarshan Chakra will back off. So this is Krishna, right? So when we go and ask for Krishna's protection, it doesn't mean that Krishna is going to exploit us because he absolutely needs nothing from us. Because the people that we go and ask for protection in this world need something from us in this world. They need something in this world because they themselves are not completely self-satisfied. But Krishna is Yogeshwara, the Lord of all mystics. He absolutely doesn't need anything. Therefore, he is so... he's absolutely not insecure. Think about it. This is the most powerful weapon in the entire universe or the entire creation. And he has given it to somebody. This is his Sudarshan Chakra, right? And he has said, okay, you can have it. Think about your most valuable possession that you have. How easy it is for you to go and give it to somebody and say, oh, you have it. It's fine. This is the most powerful thing, right? He is so such a person that he'll give it to his devotee and say, you have it. And says, even I won't control. I've given it to you. It is now up to the devotee to control that Sudarshan Chakra. Although it is mine, right? Even when we give it to somebody, something to somebody, and we might have this expectation that, oh, when I say something, that person will do something with the thing that I gave him. But here Krishna is saying, no. Now this is up to Maharaj Ambarish. You go and ask him for forgiveness. And this is the devotee also, right? Then he says, okay, if I've done anything pious, he prays to Sudarshan. Please forgive Durvasa Muni. He says, take all my piety with you. I don't want anything. This is somebody who's tried to kill him. And Maharaj Ambarish's reaction is that, oh, please Sudarshan, please protect him. And take away everything that is pious that I've done. If there is anything pious that I've done, take everything and then protect this person. So this is Krishna's protection. He definitely protects us. We might sometimes see it very clearly. Sometimes we might not be able to see it very clearly. But either way, we should have this unflinching faith, Rakshishyatiti Vishwasa, that Krishna will always protect us. This is one of the limbs of Sharanagati. When we surrender to Krishna, this is something that we should completely inscribe in our hearts. Whether we see it or we don't see it. Sometimes we just don't see it. And when we mature as devotees and we see Krishna's... Prabhupada describes in, I forget which purport in the Gita, he gives the idea of how a devotee thinks. When a devotee is getting something that he likes, right, that is something favorable, we are all happy. Naturally, everybody is happy, right? At that time, most likely, we think, oh, thank you, Krishna. That's the extent to which we might think of Krishna. But a devotee is incredibly grateful to Krishna. And he thinks, oh, I don't deserve this at all. And yet, Krishna, you've been so merciful to me that you have given this to me. Although I don't deserve this at all. And this is not coming from a position of fake humility. A devotee really thinks that, oh, I really don't deserve this. But Krishna, you've given this to me. And there might be many instances in our life also where genuinely we might not have deserved something, but we get it, right? So then the devotee thinks, Krishna, thank you so much. Although I don't deserve it, you've given it to me. And during times of reversals, when we think, Krishna, please protect me, and things have not really gone according to what we thought it was. Prabhupada says a devotee thinks, "Oh Krishna, you've been so merciful to me. Although I should have got it in 10 times worse than what I really went through, you were so merciful to me that you reduced it to such a small level that I was able to handle it." This is how a devotee thinks, that everything is a mercy of the Lord, whether it be good or whether it be bad. He thinks this is the mercy of the Lord. So this is protection of the Lord. These are few things I was thinking. Is there any questions, comments, or reflections that you might have? Yes.
I'm just backtracking. You spoke about so many amazing things. But there was the one question that I had in the middle of your class when
Yeah.
you were talking briefly about the Bhakti Lata beach, and when we water the Bhakti Lata beach, we also water the weeds.
Yeah.
I feel like I've asked this question many times, but I always want more information of how to uproot those weeds, how to stop watering them or get them out of there.
Yeah. It's a straightforward answer, but a difficult thing to practice. So we every day read in the morning there are 10 offenses to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. These are what protects us from the weed. When we stop, actively try to stop committing those offenses to the holy names of the Lord, then the weeds don't really grow. And the most important thing that they say that causes all the other offenses is inattentiveness, right? And this can be applied to every activity in Krishna consciousness, not just chanting, right? When we are doing any other service, washing pots, or even dressing the deity, or giving a class, or any service that you do, we have to try to be as present as possible, as conscious as possible, as attentive as possible. Then in that moment Krishna is there. The Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhakar Jaha Krishna Taha Maya Nahi Adhikar. Right? Krishna is like the sun and Maya is like the darkness. Wherever there is sun, there is no chance that there can be darkness. Right? So the entire idea is to try to be present so that Krishna can be present. Try to be attentive because Krishna can be present, and in that point there is very less chance that something can enter. Right, the weed can enter.
Can I share a reflection on
Yes,
that?
yes, please.
And my experience is like, I'm sure many people can relate, is often I'm very inspired sometimes, and sometimes I'm just very not.
Yeah.
And so a practice that I've had recently is like, in those moments where I am inspired, to do what you're saying, to be attentive, because when I'm not feeling inspired, it's going to be difficult. But if I can, while those moments are there, just take advantage of it and be present.
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay, and it's natural that it's going to kind of ebb and flow sometimes. But when it's there, be there with it.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard this as a wartime and peacetime activity, right? During peacetime, when we can actually contemplate and be peaceful, we actually try to practice, right? But then we get these tests, right, which is basically the wartime. Then at that point, it becomes instinctive. What we have done in the past hopefully kicks in, and then we can see our intelligence is still there for us to see things clearly. But then Krishna gives us another chance. The entire thing here is to see if our practice can kick in exactly when we want it to kick in, right? And it will. And many, many times, I mean, if you have been doing this for a few years at least, we can look back and see, okay, in this circumstance I've behaved in a different way, and over the years I've behaved in a different way in the exact same circumstance because the practice kicks in. Yes.
One last reflection. Somebody shared with me recently that the spiritual path or spiritual advancement is like notes on a piano. So you start at C. I'm from America, so you start on C and then you work your way up, or you start at do, re, mi, or sa, pa.
Yeah.
You know, and but when you get to the next octave, you're back on the same note that you started out. So it sometimes can feel like, oh, I haven't made any progress.
Yeah.
But when you really pay attention, it's like actually you're a whole octave ahead of where you were.
Yes. There is no loss or diminution in this process, right? Yes, yeah, Hari Prabhu. Yep.
Thank you for the awesome class. I was just kind of contemplating about Krishna's protection, and I wondered how can we get Krishna, or how does Krishna protect us from like going away? You know what I mean? Because like it seems like I totally believe Krishna's always protecting us.
Yeah.
But then it just came in my mind. What about the devotees
Yeah.
they're still devotees because they're always devotees, right? But then they don't want to practice anymore, right?
Yeah.
So how do we get the protection that we can always be a practicing devotee?
Yeah. Actually, Krishna's protection is always there. But there is another component to it called free will, which Krishna will never take away from us, right? So when we say surrender, right, it's not a one-time thing. Oh, I came to a ceremony, I got my name, I got my beads, I sat in a fire sacrifice, and then, oh, I've surrendered to Krishna. No. It's a moment-to-moment thing. It is something that we consciously decide every moment that whether I want to surrender to Krishna or whether I want to surrender to his external potency. Surrender we must, right? There is no escape for us as marginal potency. We have to either take shelter of Krishna's internal potency or Krishna's external potency. But when we have surrendered to Krishna, we have access to something that is not available to everybody, which is the mercy of the spiritual master, which is even more merciful than Krishna's mercy itself, right? So when we're trying to go away, the spiritual master is trying to pull us. Like our spiritual master gives this example, right? It's like the spiritual master throws a rope and he's trying to pull us from this ocean, right? Pull us. But we have to do only one thing, is to hold on to it. Holding on to the rope is still our responsibility. And the spiritual master and the entire disciplic succession up to Krishna are trying to pull us out. They're actively endeavoring from their side. But we also have to hold on to that rope. Then we'll always be there. Because that's a choice that we make, right? When we make a choice not to do something, it's our choice. And yet, Krishna protects whatever we have done. That is Krishna's magnanimity. Right here in this verse, it says, Krishna is there in every single atom. This is Krishna's nature, is that all of us, from time immemorial, it's actually, when you go on the altar, you have these prayers called Bhuta Shuddhi. You're trying to purify your Bhuta, or your body and your consciousness. And the prayer says, I've been inimical towards you, Krishna. You know what inimical means? Not envious. It's like inimical means I don't even consider you. You're here, but I don't even recognize that you're here. I just go about doing my thing, not even recognizing you. That's how bad inimical is. You know, like Krishna is present everywhere, right? But life after life after life, we've been inimical towards him. For somebody who's inimical towards us, we would never associate with such a person, right? We try once, try twice, but then this person is not even like, it's considering me like as if I'm a wall in this room. So why will I invest in this person? Why will I invest in this relationship? And yet, Krishna comes with us life after life after life as the Paramatma. And is knocking from within. Turn this side. This is what's good for you. This is our friend from within who's constantly calling out. Right? This is Krishna. So whether this is, leave alone for people who have done something for him, for people who have actively gone against Krishna. He's there even within Hiranyakashipu's heart. He's there even within all the demons' heart, right? Who are actively trying to kill Krishna. He's still there, present within their hearts. He doesn't give up on us, right? So Krishna doesn't really give up on us at any moment of time. But it is our choice that we make. Whether we want to practice Krishna consciousness or not. That Krishna won't stop us, right? He can't stop us because he's given us the free will.
Thank you, Radha Kalachandji.
Yes, thank you, Radha Kalachandji. One last thing I wanted to say. My friend, he went on a Brajmandal Parikrama. He was there, I think, with Loknath Maharaj, and he was asking him many years back. This was many years back, and he was asking him, "Can you tell me one thing that I can take away, one instruction?" And then this is something that he shared with me. Maharaj was saying that if you've been to this Kumbh, you know, this Kumbh Mela happens, I think, every 12 years or something like that, and this incredible number of people come in to take a dip, because I think that the Yamuna, the Ganga, and the Saraswati, the confluence happens or something like that every 12 years, to take a dip when the three rivers are present. So if you want to take a dip in the Kumbh, you have to do only one thing. Just go in the middle of the crowd. The crowd will just take you. You'll take the dip. You don't even have to try to do anything. But if you're there on the periphery, it's going to be incredibly hard for you to take a dip. You have to go push through, and it's going to be very hard. So he was saying, always be present in the midst of devotees. Right? That way, by the strength of everybody, you're pushing me, I'm pushing you, all of us, by our combined strength, we can progress. But if you are in the periphery, right, we want to be associating with them or not associate here or there, then that's a very difficult position. Then it's the chances of us going are more. Or the Bombay train, you could say, right? If you want to get into a New York subway, right, you just have to stand in the middle where people are getting in and they push you inside. Or when you have to get out, they push you out. This happens in Bombay, definitely. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we should stop here then. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रीनाथ कृष्णदास।